some of the thrilling moments that postseason and that 5-game series, the National League Division Series between the Pirates and these St. Louis Cardinals. And the last cell that we talked about came through in a hurry, and the grounds crew did a great job getting this field ready, so we won't have any disruption in this game. Game 1 of 3 here, and these two clubs will meet 18 more times after tonight. And as Clint Hurdle has said, probably no surprises between these two teams. Garrett Cole did a great job down the stretch and pitched 2 very strong games against the Cardinals in the National League Division Series.
So he's looking forward to this first start. You know that after half a year in the big leagues now, looking down the barrel at a full year, Garrett Cole. And we're looking for great things from this young man. First overall pick 3 years ago. He has come a long way.
10 wins as a rookie last season after not being called up until midsummer. Got his first 4 starts were victories. 4-0, 1.69 ERA, and the National League Rookie of the Month for the month of September. Garrett Cole, an ERA of 2.45 in the 2 postseason games, and a whip under 1.
And what I like too, and you didn't see it in that stat package, very good control. Almost 3-to-1 walk ratio for him, almost a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. So both he and Shelby Miller, not only good, but very good control, and that's critical. Now the obvious question, will he be nervous? Will this throw him off a game, this delay tonight? Well,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. And my feeling about all this, people ask, does it disrupt everything? The only negative you can come away with this is if you get your face ripped off, if you get beat, to use this delay as an excuse. And good major leaguers won't do that. You have time to get yourself together. It's a little bit outside your normal routine, but if it doesn't work out, don't say it was the delay.
It's like Russell Martin holding court there in that dugout. Neil Walker and others gathered around as Shelby Miller will make his way in. Now keep in mind, the Cardinals ripped the Pirates 9-1 in Game 1 in St. Louis, the best-of-5 division series, and Garrett Cole then was given the baseball the next afternoon at Busch Stadium against Lance Lynn, and what a performance. He would allow just a couple of hits in his 6 innings of work. 1 walk, struck out 5. The Pirates won that game 7-1, and Garrett Cole was absolutely dominant. The 1 run he gave up, a home run to Yadier Molina leading off the 5th inning. And the Pirates went on to win that ball game 7-1. Cole would also pitch, much to the dismay of A.J. Burnett, Game 5 in St. Louis, and a very strong performance in Game 5. He went 5 innings, and some thought, heck, if he had gone 6, 7, maybe 8 innings, the Pirates might have had a shot. They ended up losing the ball game 6-1, but he gave up just a couple of runs, a 2-run homer by David Freese in the 2nd inning, and that was it against him.
I'll tell you, Greg, we might have seen his best fastball in his postseason work. Maybe just a little more adrenaline driven, perhaps, but you saw a lot of late swings from the Garrett Cole fastball. And how amped up will he be? Well, he's usually pretty amped up. So controlled aggression is what you're looking for. Be yourself, Garrett. You don't have to throw it through the wall. And, you know, watching him last year, one of the things I liked was the growth he made as a pitcher, not just going back if he was in trouble to rely on a fastball that he probably was dominant with since he was 8 years old. He did a lot of learning how to pitch, changing speeds, and I think that's going to be a big part of his progression to be one special major league pitcher.
He and the Pirates make their way out to the field, and Mike Matheny, meantime, in his 3rd year as skipper of these St. Louis Cardinals. He's done a great job. Here is his lineup. The Cardinals won 2 of 3 in Cincinnati. Matt Carpenter, Colton Wong, Matt Holliday, 1, 2, 3. That's Alan Craig, Yadier Molina, and Matt Adams from Phillipsburg. And, of course, the Slippery Rock product. 5 for 12 this season with 3 doubles. Johnny Peralta, big free agent signee over the winter. Peter Borges was traded from the Angels. David Freese went out west, and Shelby Miller is on the mound tonight for the Cardinals, making his first start of the year. Garrett Cole last year with 28 walks and 100 strikeouts and 117 innings. See if he can't be efficient tonight. Let them put the ball in play. Here's the defense. Behind him, Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen, Travis Snyder in the outfield left to right. Pedro Alvarez, Jordy Mercer on the left side of the infield with Neil Walker and Travis Ishikawa on the right side, and Russell Martin catches Garrett Cole.
Yeah, who did not face the Cardinals during the regular season, but boy was he ready for them in October. So a fun matchup. You know, we talked during the open about the importance of this series. Sure, every manager will tell you they're all important, but in the big picture, first of 19 games, nobody's going to be eliminated from the division this weekend.
That's pretty much what Clint Hurdle said before the game, and Mike Matheny feels the same way, certainly. These two clubs just about as even as you can get. 12-12 if you include the 5 games of the National League Division Series. 10-9 during the regular season. The Pirates winning 10 of 19. 7-3 were the Pirates here against the Cardinals at PNC Park.
And I don't get too deep into these kind of statistics, but Garrett Cole threw his curveball 11% of the time last year, and they didn't do much with it. So we'll see if those numbers increase. You would think that they would increase. If you're successful, you're going to build on that.
And first pitch strike, 97 miles per hour from Garrett Cole. We're underway for game 1 of the 3-game series after a fairly substantial rain delay. 1 hour and 5 minutes. 61 degrees at game time. Pitch missing inside. Ball to strike on Matt Carpenter, and what a year he had last season. He's 2 for 11 the early going of 2014. Another strike. Brian Gorman behind the plate. There he is, the crew chief. Bill Welke at first. Jim Wolf at second. And David Rackley is the third base umpire. And ball fouled away, out of play, off to the left by Matt Carpenter, who hit .318 during the regular season. Led the major leagues with 126 runs scored. He finished 4th in the MVP voting. Of course, Andrew McCutchen won it for the National League. Carpenter takes outside. They figure that their defense will improve dramatically with Carpenter going back to his natural position at third base. Colton Wong, the exciting prospect at second base.
Should have got a couple votes just because he doesn't wear gloves to hit with for the MVP.
2-2 the count on Matt Carpenter. Ground ball right side and off Ishikawa's glove. So a leadoff hit for Matt Carpenter.
Kind of a ball hit in no man's land. Does Ishikawa go right back to first base and hope his second baseman can get there? It's a tough call. It was in no man's land. I'm not sure what he could have taken either route, go for the ball or go for the base, and hope that Neal was going to get to it. It's going to be a difficult play no matter what. Got to hope that Garrett Cole would have gotten over there.
Colton Wong takes way inside that fastball. Martin making a bit of a save on that fastball down and in. Wong 3 for 9 with 3 walks. Those 3 games against the Cardinals, against the Reds. The Cardinals winning 2 of 3. And a dribbler left side. Going to be one play for Alvarez. That's to first. Works like a bunt for Wong. Carpenter at second with 1 out. And now Garrett Cole will face Matt Holliday.
And he has become the whipping boy here for Pirate fans at PNC Park. Lustily booed. I'm not sure it's deserved.
34-year-old who has 2 hits and 12 at bats through the first 3 games of the season. Hit .300 again last year. 22 homers, drove in 94 runs. Line foul out of play. The Pirates trying to figure out, as most clubs in the National League do, how to combat Matt Holliday, keep him at bay. He hit .342 against them last year.
And at the end of the year was slapping the ball to right field a lot. I remember specifically off Mark Melanson on that cut fastball, and having success with base hits on that side of the field.
And fouled off to the right. Holliday was 0 for 5 with a strikeout in the playoffs against Garrett Cole.
Well, they are seeing a very good early Garrett Cole fastball. 97, 98 miles an hour.
They were understandably impressed by what they saw from Cole in those 2 playoff games, both in St. Louis. So this is Cole's first start against the Cardinals here in Pittsburgh. 99.
Perfectly placed. Thought he might get the call. A little bit outside the zone.
1-2 on Holliday. Carpenter at second, 1 out.
Wanted in. Got it out.
97 outside corner.
Maybe Russell Martin set him up, moved a little bit inside, and they picked up the outside corner. Yeah, wants it up. You know, if you throw the perfecta, it doesn't matter much what the catcher's doing.
Holliday could only shake his head. Nothing he could do with that. Here's Alan Craig.
Actually, if you swing at it, you kind of look foolish because you're exactly right. There's not much you can do. Hope you might get a call.
Craig 2 for 12 in the series against the Reds in Cincinnati. Again, a late stab on the backhand by Russell Martin, 98 miles per hour.
Russell's not going to be challenged by many of the other Pirate pitchers like that because of the speed. I mean, he just throws it so hard. If he misses anywhere close to dramatically, it's going to have to be a big-time glove save and sale.
1-0 on Alan Craig, who hit .454 with runners in scoring position last season. The ball low and away.
Well, you can see Russell. He's going to struggle because the glove on that side of his body. Now he's got to go out away. He's got to go all the way across his body and catch up with that speed that's coming in.
That pitch was actually in the strike zone, but the way Martin had to lunge at it, Cole's not going to get that call. 2-1 on Alan Craig.
So he backs off a little bit to 95 and throws it down the middle. Backs off to 95. Don't say that about too many pitchers.
Foul. Cole did not face Craig in the National League Division Series because Craig was nursing that foot sprain. He didn't come back until the World Series. He missed most of the last month of the regular season, and despite that, missing 22 games, he still drove in 97 for the season. Hit .315, and again .454 with men in scoring position.
Now, I think Russell Martin's doing a good job. He's going to the whip this first inning. Now, you might see a breaking ball, but Garrett Cole's early fastball is so good. You have seen a lot of them.
We've seen nothing but, have we? Until there.
Breaking ball. Yep.
And now time called. Maybe
he might have gotten
crossed up.
Maybe crossed up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's got the glove high and then has to drop it down quickly to stay with the breaking ball. That prompts a conference.
It's the second non-fastball he has thrown so far. Threw a hard slider to Carpenter.
Well, they're not doing much with a fastball, and it's a very energized fastball in the first inning.
3-2. Bounced right side. That's a fair ball. A nice little play by Ishikawa. 2 outs. 3 outs now. And that'll do it after the hit by Carpenter, the ground out by Wong, the strikeout of Holliday, and Craig bounces out. Bucks come to bat. Shelby Miller. Here is the Pirates starting lineup. And it is brought to you by Toyota. Travis Snyder will follow, then Andrew McCutchen and Pedro Alvarez. Russell Martin bats fifth. Neil Walker, his career against Shelby Miller, 5 for 9 with 3 doubles. Travis Ishikawa, Jordy Mercer, and Garrett Cole round out the starting 9 against one of the best rookies last season, Shelby Miller.
15 wins, your first major league season. That is phenomenal. 23 years old, 6'3", 195 pounds, out of Houston, Texas. First round in 2009. 15 wins, but none of them against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, 4 of his 9 losses against the Pirates. 0-4 versus Pittsburgh with a 5.32 ERA last year. Defense, Matt Holliday, Peter Borges can really go get it in center field. Alan Craig is in right. Matt Carpenter, Matt Adams on the corners. Johnny Peralta, Colton Wong up the middle. Yadier Molina, the Gold Glove catcher for Shelby Miller. There is Peter Borges. Talk about that defense improving with Carpenter at third and Borges, a very speedy center fielder. Peralta, not necessarily a Gold Glover, but as Jim Leland would say when he was managing the Tigers, guy can make just about every play. Maybe not flashy, but solid. Strike on Marte. Marte, 3 hits and 13 at bats against the Cubs. Ball to strike on Marte, who hit .280 last year. Shelby Miller, 15-9, 3.06 ERA, 169 strikeouts in 173 innings. 1-2 on Marte.
And Miller with good control, as we talked about with Garrett Cole. That was a big item for rookie pitchers. Both of them did well in that category.
Maybe a little extra motivation for Shelby Miller, who was essentially skipped in the rotation in the division series because of those bad regular season numbers against the Pirates. Made sense, Mike Matheny not pitching Shelby Miller versus Pittsburgh. Pirates 4-0 against him, 5.32 ERA against the Pirates. He allowed 39 base runners in 22 innings, and the Bucks hit .319 against him.
Yeah, especially roughed up in this ballpark. Maybe if he got skipped, he should call AJ during the offseason. They can talk it over.
It's an idea. 3-2.
Here's a headline. Starling gets out of the way of a pitch inside.
Travis Snyder on deck. Full count pitch. And inside. Leadoff walk to Starling Marte, who tried to bunt yesterday with 2 strikes. And Clint Hurdle talked to him afterward. That was all Marte's doing. Marte felt like he could get the job done, but Hurdle said, listen, with 2 strikes, I was confident you could get a hit, maybe drive one into the gap. But he bunted with 2 strikes, fouled it off for a strikeout as the Pirates tried to come back down a run in the 8th inning to the Cubs, and they would lose 3-2.
Yeah, and if you take over that responsibility on your own, you're not thinking about right on the baseline. Get it down on the grass if you're going to take that chance and make that decision to do that with 2 strikes. Don't make it a perfecta. Don't try to make it perfect.
41 steals last year for Marte, looking for his first the early going this season. But keep in mind who's behind the plate for the St. Louis Cardinals. Usually stops that running game. Caught nearly 58% of the runners trying to steal last year.
An alarmingly good number. Spectacular number, percentage-wise.
And really, only 46 tried to steal.
Well,
I mean,
the number's always reduced when you're good.
Absolutely.
They stop running.
That's the point. Russell Martin did a great job, but 70 attempted steals against him. So just to give you an idea. And
it's just Martin, a carryover from the previous year with the Pirates.
No doubt. Ball 1 on Travis Snyder. Travis Snyder 2 for 11 in the 3 games against the Cubs.
You would think going into 2013, every club would run on the Pirates, at least initially, till they proved they could stop, because 2012 was abysmal.
And 1 ball and 1 strike on Travis Snider. Yeah, but again, the point is, the reason why the number by Molina attempted steals is so low, just like you've often said, Steve, assists for outfielders, it's kind of misleading.
Absolutely.
Because once you gain that reputation that you can throw, they don't run against you. And Molina certainly has earned that reputation. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Snider.
One of the best. Tony La Russa said he was the glue to his ball club. I think that Matheny would certainly concur. Mike having been a catcher, and a good one.
A Gold Glover himself. 1 and 2 on Travis Snider. There goes Marte, and look at this. The game ended yesterday on that very play. Broken bat, soft liner, double play. Marte took off. Snider, broken bat, soft liner, DP.
It's all about timing. Talk about the easiest double play to turn in the world. Not that one hopper chest high to the second baseman. It's the broken bat line drive to the shortstop who finds the runner from first base right in front of him.
So 2 outs, nobody on now. And here's Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen singled in his first at bat of the season on Monday against the Cubs. He is 1 for 10 with 5 walks. Maybe an early indication that pitchers are going to be extremely careful, especially until Alvarez gets going. And there's 2 balls and no strikes. Travis Snider, tough luck. Broken bat liner into a double play. Two and 1 on McCutchen. It's Tony Sanchez seated next to Jordy Mercer. Mercer with the cap off, and he can commiserate because he was the one that hit that ball yesterday to end the game. Check swing, no swing on the appeal. 3 and 1 on McCutchen. Strike at the knees. Full count. Good rip, but foul.
Well, there are a lot of people around the National League that feel that the Cardinals might be arguably the best team in the National League. People that will give them the votes. I'll tell you one thing, they have got some kind of starting rotation. When it's got a foundation of Walker, Miller, Wainwright.
Popped up. Foul territory, and the second baseman Wong will make the catch. And Matt Adams lost that ball, so it was all Wong's in shallow right. Nothing after 1.
A day of celebration in Boston. The Red Sox home opener against the Milwaukee Brewers. And before the game at Fenway, the Red Sox unveiled the 2013 World Series banner. The Sox also honored the Boston Marathon bombing victims by having family members deliver the World Series rings to the Red Sox players like Dustin Pedroia and David Ortiz. Brewers won 6-2. Let's head back now to Greg and Steve at PNC Park. Guys.
All right, thank you, Rob. Pretty emotional day in Boston. A lot of opening. There were 8 home openers today. Boston. Rob told you the Brewers spoiled that opener. The Rockies won big over Arizona in their home opener. Cubs lost theirs. The Nationals lost 2-1 to Atlanta in D.C. Cardinals have been waiting a while for their home opener. We'll have to wait until after this weekend as Yadier Molina takes a strike. And out of play. Cardinals open up their home schedule Monday against the Reds.
Still on the road from spring training.
Yeah. And they've seen a lot of rain. They were supposed to play an exhibition game against one of their minor league affiliates in Memphis, and that got rained out. And then they experienced all kinds of rain in Cincinnati. They won last night 7-6, but had to endure another delay. They spoiled the Reds opener by winning 1-0. The Reds then beat St. Louis in game 2 1-0. All bounced to Mercer, a bobble, but a lot of time to get the slow-footed Molina.
Well, you hope you get a lot of ground balls because there is a gale blowing across this field from right field to left field, sometimes straight out. So both of these pitchers not known to work downstairs a lot. Somebody gets the ball up in the air, they're going to get a lot of help.
And now Matt Adams, who went 5 for 12 against the Cincinnati Reds, and of course a lot of folks in from Phillipsburg, central part of the state. Ball 1 on Matt Adams, 23rd round pick in 2009. But he saw that shift in Cincinnati, and he had some hits going the other way. Check swing. No, he did not go. 5 hits, 3 doubles through the first 3 games for Matt Adams. 4 of his 5 hits went the other way against that shift. 2-1 now on Adams. Adams was 1 for 4 against Garrett Cole in those 2 playoff games. And the other way, but Marte back. 2 outs in the second. Adams is retired. Follow the Pirates with MLB.com at bat for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10, or Windows Phone 8. Get scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at bat to 31826 or visit Pirates.com for details. 2 outs, and here is Johnny Peralta. And he bounces the first pitch to Mercer. And 1-2-3 for Garrett Cole on 9 pitches in the second. 1.5 played at PNC Park. It's 0-0.
Cardinals and the Pirates. I'm Robbie Mikowski. Well, last night was a very good night for Pirates manager Clint Hurdle as he received the Art Rooney Award at the Art Rooney Awards annual foundation dinner. Last night it was held at the Westin Hotel, and he had a chance to take some pictures with the family. It was the Art Rooney Award dinner and auction. It benefits the Catholic Youth Association. There he is with Art Rooney II. He said he was very humbled earlier today and touched by the fact that he got to revisit the legacy of the Chief. He's done his research on the Chief, Greg, and he knows how passionate Art Rooney was about baseball and the fact that he named his first football team the Pirates. Not a lot of people may know that was back in 1933. But he was also very happy he was able to honor his wife, Carla, and her parents, ages 84 and 82. So he was a very happy guy and happy to talk about it today.
A neat night last night at that award dinner benefiting the Catholic Youth Association.
The accolades just keep on coming.
Yeah.
Art Rooney was a great baseball fan. We used to see him a good bit around the hallways and out on the field behind the batting cage at Three River Stadium.
Always chewing that cigar.
Yep.
The Chief.
How gracious he was to all of us that would stop by, and his secretary, Mary Regan. What a champion. Mary Regan, just a special lady. Worked for Art.
And the Chief's son and grandson have carried on that class and tradition of the Rooneys. Indeed. You couldn't have more class, than those guys. They're
absolutely
fabulous.
Yep.
Alvarez, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, we had a chance in spring training to see Tom Atkins, the guy who portrays Art Rooney and the Chief. What a wonderful one-man show that is.
Ball hit hard to left. There's a one-man show. Clear the deck. Cannonball coming. And that ball was absolutely drilled deep over the left field wall. Oppo time for the big bull.
Hey, you want to talk about going to the opposite field? Go to one of the deepest opposite fields in baseball. Either side.
Pedro Alvarez, who tied for the league lead last year with 36 homers, hits his first, and he tattooed it. Here's Russell Martin.
The ball is going to go over the fence no matter what. There's some wind. Yeah, that gives some help. All that does is give it more distance because it's gone when it leaves the bat.
That is from a left-hand hitter. That is a long way. I actually, on Supermo shot, Allegheny Health Network, I asked Clint Hurdle before the game about the fact that it looked like Anthony Rizzo was trying to beat the shift a little bit for the Pirates, and Adams has even been told that if he sees that shift and he even wants to drop a bunt down, he can. And Clint Hurdle said, I'm not interested in having Pedro Alvarez punt the ball. He can beat the shift with one swing, and he just did it.
Absolutely.
And ball 4, following the home run.
A little hangover at bat from Shelby Miller.
It's a second walk.
Yeah, you're big guys. Yeah, you want them to maybe hit the ball the opposite field for base hit, but you don't want them to make it a lifestyle. They're paid to hit the ball over the fence.
Neil Walker hit the home run over the fence opening day. 10-inning game winner.
By the way, that 0-2 record here at PNC Park from Shelby Miller included a 6.10 ERA.
Should be 2. Peralta routine. 6-3 double play. That home run, estimated distance for Pedro Alvarez, 426 feet.
The opposite way. The ball sounds different. It flies different when the big guy hits it.
And that's where it landed, beyond the first set of bleachers there.
Yeah, that's not down the left field corner. That's
toward the notch.
Yeah, 383. on the padded wall. And all Matt Holliday did was look around. There was not a step backwards.
And if a right-hand hitter, if Matt Holliday had hit that ball, you'd be impressed. Broken bat, little flare. Wong will make the catch. Ishikawa is retired, but Pedro Alvarez thrills the crowd. It's the Bucks on the board first in the very first regular season meeting of the year. Pedro Alvarez, it's home run number 1. This is game 4 of the regular season. He didn't hit his first home run last year until the Pirates' 15th game of the season, April the 18th, against the Atlanta Braves.
Now, Greg, do I have that section out there right? They call it the landing zone?
I believe so. Yep. We have landed.
He zoned it. Yeah.
Yep. A long tater for Pedro Alvarez, 426 feet the other way. Last year, take a look at the average fly ball distance. This includes line drives. The major league leaders: Ryan Braun, Chris Davis, Paul Goldschmidt, Ryan Howard, and Pedro Alvarez. Line drive off of Ishikawa, but it's going to deflect right to Walker. That's a 3-4-3 play to retire the speedy Peter Borges. One down.
Good reactions. Stay with the play. You might have a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance.
Ishikawa to Walker to Ishikawa. Here's Shelby Miller. Miller was 4 out of 33 last year at the plate, .075 average. Did hit a home run off the Diamondbacks' Matt Reynolds. His first career homer. This is going to be an easy play for Walker.
Good, Garrett.
2 down. Allegheny Health Network injury update. Just mentioned Ryan Braun's name. And Ryan Braun limited to DH duties tonight against the Red Sox, or today, with a thumb injury. Same injury that caused him problems during last year. He's looking to return to right field tomorrow.
Lots of problems last year.
Yeah. Missed a lot of games last year, but not because of injury. Pirates will be in Milwaukee next weekend. A week from tonight, they begin a 3-game series at Miller Park against the Brewers. And then the Brewers are back to town, starting the next homestand Thursday night, the 17th. So 2 weeks from yesterday, Pirates begin an 8-game homestand. This ball's fouled out of play. 4 with the Brewers, 4 with the Reds. Garrett Cole. How about this? That ball landed in that gentleman's popcorn bucket.
Thank goodness it wasn't the beer cup.
Look at this catch.
Well, you're going to see that.
That is classic.
The rest of the week.
And a line drive to Ishikawa. So we got the popcorn, we got the line drives, we got it all. 6 pitches, a lot happening. 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Another look, you're going to see a lot of this.
How?
And he holds on. Jordy Mercer. Oh, what a play at third by Matt Carpenter. Throws out Jordy Mercer. Matt Carpenter. Dazzling play to retire Mercer. Robbed him of extra bases.
A lot of stuff going on. This one gets a circle on it. Flat out. And no panic. That's one of the factors. You get the glover on it. That's reason enough to give him a hand. Tip of the cap. But then not to rush, not to hurry. Set himself, strong throw, and complete the play. That's a major league play.
They really think they will have a much improved defense at that position. So better range there as David Freese, back issues and whatnot, could not move much to his right or left. Carpenter back to his natural position, and he robs Mercer of extra bases. Garrett Cole, meantime, hit .206 last year for the Pirates, 7 for 34, and drove in 5 runs.
Didn't he get a hit his first start? I believe he did, along with winning his first 4 starts.
Yeah.
That's pretty good entrance into Major League life.
Takes care of Cole. How does this guy react? How would you have reacted, Steve?
Look what I found.
That's a buttery baseball in the Berg. You betcha. Tweet hashtag Bucks Booth.
He won't forget this night.
Look at his buddy there.
Like
now they're all coming in.
Now I liked it when the guy with the umbrella on his head came in.
They're all seeing the slow-mo replays.
There's the guy with the umbrella on his head to the right.
Yeah.
He came in. He was part of the deal.
He was.
Yeah, everybody wants in.
2-0 on Starling Marte. Walked in the first.
He has had about 3 or 4 pitches just barely miss him. They want to stay inside. Nope, want to go away. Yeah.
And hit hard the other way toward the wall, and it is a foul ball. That would have been fun to see that ball kick around the corner. 2-1 on Starling Marte. Shelby Miller walked Marte leading off the bottom of the first and nearly gave up an extra base hit here. Marte walked a total of 25 times last year. That first inning free pass gives him 3 in the first less than 4 games. He didn't draw his 3rd walk last year until April the 20th. Maybe that'll be a trend that might continue. There's a high fly ball to center field. Back is Borges to the warning track. Nearing the wall. And off the wall! Can't make the play. Marte heads to 3rd. He is there with a triple off the wall in center.
And he'll never have an easier trip all the way from home plate around to 3rd base. The hang time was phenomenal. It got up in that wind and just kept carrying and carrying and carrying. A lot of height, but a lot of help. The attempt, he might have thought he was a little closer to the wall.
Yeah, maybe one more step for Borges. He might have had a shot, but Marte lifting that one to center field.
Just trotting. Now, I don't know if it's going to make a difference, Greg, if he's going to have a chance for 4 bases. But you know what? You got to know the conditions. You leave out of there. That ball's got a chance to go a long way. And with his speed, who knows? He's trotting to first base. Love the triple.
Love the triple. Would have loved a 4-bagger, right?
Yeah, because he got in there comfortably.
Yeah. See if Snyder can bring him home. Yep. Marte triples off the wall in center.
So you got a chance to, because that's kind of a bonus, because it was wind and breeze aided. Now with 2 outs, you're in the bonus round. You pick up this run. You feel like you kind of snuck something away.
3-0 on Travis Snyder with McCutchen on deck. Snyder hit that broken bat soft liner to the shortstop. It was turned into a double play. Peter Borges, the center fielder, went back on the ball and was not able to make the catch. He made some fabulous catches in the Angels outfield. And a strike is called.
Well, the thing is, with good outfielders and guys with speed like a Borges, that really frustrates them because they make those plays, and that's a big part of their game, obviously, and they take a lot of pride in it. So that's going to bother him, but there's nothing you can do about it right now.
Full count as Snyder fouls off the fastball.
Miller issued a walk to Russell Martin after the Alvarez home run. Now Miller trying to avoid walking a batter after that long, lazy triple. Talking about the flight of the ball.
And he does walk his 3rd batter, and he'll face McCutchen. Shelby Miller making his first regular season start since September 25th last year. McCutchen popped up to the second baseman Colton Wong his first time.
And Molina wants to talk with Miller, and Yadier Molina, this is one of his great traits, along with a lot of other. That's an instinctive feel now. He wants to talk to the young pitcher because he gave up the triple and then issues another walk, and good catchers know the right time to go out and just have a word with their pitcher. And when pitchers sit down after a while and think about that, say, yeah, that was a good time. And then you say, well, yeah, that means a lot that your catcher cares enough to have that feel and want to have a good reading on you. That's a good thing. That's just a simple little plus for a pitcher that his catcher cares about.
1 ball, 1 strike on McCutchen. McCutchen 3 for 11, including 1 at bat in the postseason. Miller pitched 1 inning in Game 2 in that 7-1 Pirates victory. Pitched 1 inning in relief. Ball and 2 strikes on McCutchen.
Play. You know, a couple 3 pitches ago, Shelby Miller kind of kicking at the dirt where your lead foot would land when you come toward home plate, and that's a bigger issue than a lot of people realize, because the different pitchers in a given game might have different landing areas, and you don't want to hit on the side of somebody else's landing area, and that becomes a little awkward. It's great when you match up perfectly, but sometimes you have to do a little landscaping so you get a bigger area where you both can land comfortably.
Breaking ball missed up and in. 2-2.
The fewer of those types of things that you have to think about, or you do think about, the better off you are. Anytime you can eliminate any kind of clutter, just apply yourself to what's happening a little further ahead of you in the landing area, mainly the batter.
McCutchen fouls off the 51st pitch of the night from Shelby Miller.
And you will see a lot of foul balls like that from both of these right-handers. They're power guys. Right-hand batters are going to see a lot of lazy foul balls into the stands down the right field line, and lefties will be hitting some down the other direction, just trying to catch up with those good fastballs, those good young fastballs.
Still 2-2 on McCutchen with 2 outs and 2 on. And it's 3-2. 95 from Shelby Miller, the hard-throwing young righty from Brownwood High School near Houston, Texas. Like McCutchen, a first-round pick in 2009. He was the first high school pitcher chosen in the first round by the Cardinals since 1991. They drafted him in the first round in 2009.
Trying to collect himself. He's struggling. He's trying to find a groove as opposed to what Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole is just grooving very efficiently. Shelby trying to find it.
Line to right, back. And making a foul catch on Craig onto the warning track. Bucco strand a couple through a 3 lead, 1-0. David Letterman surprised a lot of people watching late night last night with David Letterman. He said he's going to retire. And so you've gotten a top 10 list here from the home office of Falls Village, Connecticut. Steve's top 10 things to do in left field at PNC Park. Number 10.
In honor of David Letterman's retirement, join Left Field Loonies. You got to qualify with Ross Morgan. You know that view, but do not feed the shark tank. Be careful. Number 8, get a clear view of the Roots Sports sign. Absolutely. That's from the real home office. Number 7, short trip to Manny's Barbecue, but don't ask for directions. Number 6, get a grilled cheese in the Hall of Fame Club and the bullpen. Number 5, get to know Starling Marte. He's out there. Number 4, enjoy the Pittsburgh skyline. Great view across the river. Number 3, free baseball with each bucket of popcorn. Number 2, catch an opponent deflected home run.
And we'll come back to number 1 in a moment.
It's called a tease.
Fouled off by Colton Wong. Wong grounded out. And the number 1.
Number 1, play extra innings to avoid seeing the David Letterman show.
Which they did, 2 nights ago, 16 innings.
Yes.
If you stayed for that one, you missed Letterman. Yeah, you missed the late show and the late show. If you
That's the bad news. You got the early show.
Yeah.
Early AM show.
So a base hit into the left center gap by Colton Wong. Good speed. Thinking to, but now thinks better of it. Marte gets the ball in and a leadoff hit for Colton Wong.
He was thinking 2 bases there, and good retrieval by the Pirate outfield. He knows that ball is in between the left fielder and the center fielder, and what do you got to lose? Make the big turn, run hard. You're young, you're in your 20s, 4 times a night, run hard.
Now Matt Holliday struck out looking in the first. Line drive hit hard by Holliday. That fastball rifled into center. 2 on with nobody out.
So Garrett Cole cruising right along, throwing a lot of fastballs, getting a lot of quick outs, but now quick offense by the Cardinals. That ball upstairs, inner part of the plate. You see Matt Holliday is still trying to fight it off a little bit. He does a lot of that in this ballpark. Pushes the ball to either that side of the infield or further over toward right field.
Tried to come in on Holliday, and he blistered that ball into center. So now 2 on for Alan Craig, who grounded out to Travis Ishikawa to end the first. Two for 13 to start the young season for Alan Craig. Came back to play in the World Series after missing that action with the left foot sprain and hit .375 in the World Series against Boston. One ball and 1 strike. Mike Matheny took the St. Louis Cardinals to the World Series. And Colton Wong, a rookie last year, will not forget. No one will allow him to forget being picked off of first base to end one of those World Series games. Picked off of first with St. Louis down 4-2. With Carlos Beltran at the plate, Koji Uehara picked off Colton Wong in Game 4. And that evened the series, and the Red Sox, of course, went on to beat the St. Louis Cardinals. Two and 2. And there's some major World Series mistakes over the years, Steve. That one certainly stood out for the young Colton Wong, and there's that pitch riding in.
That's that sinking fastball with still mid-90s speed on it. It's a great combination: speed and movement, down and in. Speed, movement, and location. Swing and a miss.
And now it's 3-2, and a big pitch here. 3-2. So Cole's going to go back and kick off some of that mud.
And take a deep breath. You know, he's been rolling along, and sometimes, bang, bang, you're in trouble very quickly. You got to back it off a little bit, collect yourself. When you're on a roll, go ahead and get the ball, get the sign, throw the ball. You're rolling. But when you run into a snag, you might have to take a few more moments to collect yourself. When you're rolling, you don't need to take much time to think. Just keep it going until it stops. And it has stopped here.
And into shallow left center field. McCutchen racing in, makes the catch.
Always fun to see Andrew outrun the baseball.
Big time out there to get Alan Craig to fly out, one away.
Well, the combination of the McCutchen speed and the ball carrying out there, staying elevated for plenty of time. Easy play, fun to watch.
Molina bounced to short in the second inning. Cole would love to get Molina to do the same thing here and get out of the inning.
The art of pitching, working out of jams, minimizing damage. Young pitcher or old pitcher, part of the deal. You don't run the table. It just doesn't happen very often.
Molina hit into 14 double plays last season. That was actually third on the team. Matt Holliday hit into 31. David Freese hit into 25. And now they have the pickoff play on. Jose Oquendo and others were screaming at Wong to get back.
And 95% of the time you're not going to pick off a man at second base, but you're going to put in the idea in his head you haven't forgot about him. Maybe able to save a step, maybe not. Usually just an exercise.
Might it cut back on the guy's lead, Steve?
Yeah, and,
just a bit, and that could come into play on a base hit, right?
Absolutely. You may have to stop at third instead of going home.
So even if you don't pick off a guy,
yeah, you send the message. Save a step at second.
Those little things that can come into play. 1-1 on Yadier Molina. 31 years old. Went to his 5th straight All-Star game last year. 6 consecutive Gold Gloves. Finished 3rd in MVP voting, behind Andrew McCutchen and Paul Goldschmidt. He was 2 for 4 against Cole in the playoffs with a home run. And hits this in the air to left. Marte is back. Ball carrying. And toward the track, makes the catch, 2 outs.
Well, Garrett Cole working hard here in the 4th inning. 2 quick hits. A couple of grind them out fly balls to the outfield. Now he gets to work against the big man.
Adams hit the ball the other way to Starling Marte in the 2nd. Now 5 for 13 the young season. Gets away, and the runners will move up 90 feet on the wild pitch.
A challenge for a catcher with his stuff that's thrown with so much movement, so much speed. Just check it out. And just trying to gauge on the short hop where that ball is going to be. It's not much easier with a guy who doesn't throw very hard, but it's a little bit easier.
Strike outside corner.
Now to play out a possible script here. Gets out of the inning, leaves them at the base pass. When he comes in, Ray Serge will come in and tell him, don't worry about the wild pitch, because guys with high standards, and most everybody does, those little kind of things bug you.
Oh, in the dirt, the pick by Russell Martin.
Yeah, you don't want your pitcher dwelling on these kind of things that are kind of dangerous looking, and Russell does a good job there. Well, get the out and then get in there and sit in the dugout and collect yourself. Ray Sears has such a great handle on the 12 personalities that are part of his pitching staff. He really does have a handle on them. Who to kick in the butt, who to kind of put his arm around his shoulder. Look at the lead at third base. Wow.
He could take 10 more steps if he wanted.
Yeah.
Colton Wong could practically walk home with Pedro Alvarez well off the line, and Matt Adams, his reaction on that strike call.
Yeah. If you look at the runner at third base before you look at Pedro, you say, oh my goodness.
Checks his swing and a pitch in the dirt.
Russell, keep working, Russell. Keep working with him.
He is.
Marc-Andre Martin. He's already made one good 3-2 pitch that resulted in that first out.
You're going to throw him a fastball here, Steve. 3-2.
I don't know. I didn't see the sign. I would, you got an open base. You never want to really load the bases, but I think a curveball to a young hitter might catch him off guard.
See what Martin and Cole decide. Breaking ball fouled off.
Well, you remember the other day the critical curveball thrown to Andrew McCutchen by Jose Barris?
Yeah. Bases loaded.
And that's tough for a hitter because you're looking to protect. You're looking for the fastball. And you made a living hitting fastballs. I don't know how many 3-2 curveballs you see.
Another 3-2 pitch. And he walked him with a fastball. So now they're loaded for Peralta. They go from the young Matt Adams to the veteran, the experienced Johnny Peralta, who bounced out in the second.
And Garrett Cole, who's averaged about 10 pitches per inning the first three, is running that number up pretty good, but he still has not allowed a run. Working hard here in the top of the fourth.
Trying to get Peralta. Ball one.
And he's searching right now, and Russell recognizes that. I don't know what he's going to say to him, but I mean, it's pretty obvious. He was just rolling along, just put a sign down and let him throw it. But now he is searching. So talk it over.
Colton Wong started the inning with that base hit to left center field, and Matt Holliday lined a single to center. The next two batters were retired after a wild pitch. First base was open. Matt Adams walked on the 3-2 pitch, and now Peralta. In the air to right. Snyder. And the Cardinals leave the bases loaded. Garrett Cole gets out of it. Buccos still lead 1-0.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture, proudly featuring solid wood American-made Amish furniture. For furniture that lasts, shop Levin. Let's go Bucks!
Pedro Alvarez homered the other way. His first time up against Shelby Miller. He takes a strike.
Miller was pretty good last year. 31 starts, 20 home runs. That's not an outrageous number.
Strike is called. 0-2. Alvarez, then Martin, and Walker. Ball and 2 strikes. The home run by Alvarez set off the ballpark fireworks, and there are fireworks going off either in the point or over by Station Square tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Another indication the winner's over.
Yeah. And a drive to right center field. Clear the deck. Cannonball coming. The ball is loose. His second bomb gives the Bucks a 2-0 lead, and the fireworks go again.
Think he used enough dynamite there, Butch? Wow, and that ball almost got over that seating section in right center field. 2 big time home runs for number 24. Woo! That'll jumpstart a Friday night crowd.
8th multi-homer game of his career. So he hit one the other way and hits this one to right center field.
Miller knows it. You better get that breaking ball down, or it's going to be back to back.
Pedro Alvarez, a 2-homer game.
That's what you call getting off the schneid, isn't it?
Yeah. 1 for 15 with 4 strikeouts coming in. Here's the Allegheny Health Network Supermo look. It's that ball over the wall. An 85-mile-per-hour changeup from Shelby Miller. After hitting the opposite field home run off a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. So Miller tried the heat and then the off-speed. And Alvarez burned him both times.
It's too bad there wasn't 5 or 6 guys on base when he did them both.
In the air to left.
You suck!
Neil Walker is retired for the second out. Ishikawa now. The Alvarez home run. Martin strikes out. Walker flies out. So Garrett Cole got out of that jam. Now leads it 2-0. Ishikawa, a broken bat flare to the shortstop. His first AB.
Well, still not many hits for the Pirates, but they're starting to max them out a little bit. Score 2 runs for every 3 hits, you'll be okay.
It's Pedro Alvarez's first 2-homer game since May 25th last year against the Milwaukee Brewers.
You just call him personally a back-to-back, maybe? Personal back-to-back night?
Sure.
So far?
Yeah, so far. Second time he's had a 2-homer game in his career against the Cardinals. Shelby Miller, the third big league pitcher out of Brownwood High School, Abilene, Texas. Jerry Don Gleaton pitched for the Pirates in 1992, and Jim Morris, a movie was made about him, the rookie. There's a fly ball deep to right field by Ishikawa. That's got a shot. That one is gone. Travis Ishikawa clears the deck. 3-0 Pirates. Ishikawa's first as a Bucco.
Knew it had the height, has the carry.
3 solo home runs, 2 from Alvarez, and now Ishikawa.
Welcome to the Pittsburgh Pirates, Travis. Gets the hands in by the body, and Cowabunga.
That's got to feel so good. That's Ishikawa's first big league home run since 2012. He hit 4 with the Brewers that year.
Now he's thinking short porch, PNC Park. Oh, great silhouette.
Peralta. Final out, 2 homers in the inning. The first one from Pedro Alvarez was his second of the night. And then Ishikawa added his first as a Pirate. And it is 3-0 Pittsburgh. Homer, first big league homer since May 15th, 2012, and Pedro Alvarez 2 home runs tonight. We're getting a lot of tweets. Hashtag Bucks Booth. Wow, Pedro 2 for 2 with 2 homers. Amazing. That's from W. Walk. Lynch Farah. Wow, there's some magic in the Berg tonight. Asks Fallon. Sorry, Miller, but the boys are playing long ball tonight. Hashtag Bucks Booth for your tweets, and he's got more ABs coming. He homered in his first 2 at-bats against the Brewers on July 20th, 2010. As Peter Borges takes ball 1.
Very efficient. 4 hits, 3 runs.
Russell Martin with a Gold Glove play to retire Peter Borges.
I was thinking the same thing, Greg. It was a perfect punt. But Russell Martin got out from behind home plate and jumped on it. On one knee. The turn, a lot of mustard on it.
Oh, man.
That is the perfect play, and that's the only way could have gotten him out. That was a perfect defensive play.
Oh, he took a little peek.
He did. Took a look. You're looking at how perfect it was, and it was perfect.
But not today.
But not today. Russell out on one knee, turning. Not only throwing accurately, chest high, with something on the radar gun for him.
He won't say it, but I think he takes a little extra pride in going up against Yadier Molina each night.
Oh, yeah.
The Gold Glover.
Yep.
Martin has won a Gold Glove, but now back in the National League. These two considered the top backstops in the senior circuit.
Boy, that was pretty to watch.
All in one motion. There's Yachty.
And lots of times that kind of a bunt is just say, just pick it up and tip your cap. And not much you can do with it, but he did everything he could do with it, and then some.
Line drive the other way by Shelby Miller. A one-out single to right. Well, we want to see how you root for the Pirates. Be our AT&T fan photo of the day. Show us the most unique ways you root for the Pirates. Raise the Jolly Roger, the fun places you watch the games on Root Sports, how you display your Pirate pride. Just submit a picture via Twitter using the hashtag BucksFanPhoto, and we'll show them during our broadcast. Hashtag BucksFanPhoto. Show us how you root for the Bucks. Tonight is Raise the Jolly Roger Free Shirt Friday. The free t-shirts given away tonight. Every Friday is a free shirt Friday. And now Carpenter showing bunt.
Garrett Cole took a moment before delivering that pitch to check with his infielders to make sure he knew who was going to cover if the ball was hit back to him. Standard operating procedure.
Drilled to right. Matt Carpenter. A home run. A line drive home run for Matt Carpenter. His first of the season makes it 3-2. Matt Carpenter quiets the crowd with his first home run of the season. That young man, I think, caught both home runs. Ishikawa's and this one, a line drive by Carpenter.
That got out in a hurry. Right down Broadway. Take a look at that location. Right on it.
Ball, one strike on Colton Wong. Ball carries back down to that young man. And now it's 3-2. Carpenter, who had 11 home runs last year. It's his first home run of the season.
It's amazing how quickly it can change. Garrett Cole just really cruising through, especially second and third inning, very efficiently, very quick outs. A snag in the third, fourth, and now in the fifth.
Chopper, shortstop Mercer. Tires Wong. 2 outs. Wong 1 for 3. Grounds out following the Matt Carpenter home run. Cole gave up 7 homers in 19 starts last year during the regular season. He now faces Matt Holliday, 1 for 2 tonight. There's Carpenter next to John Mabry, the hitting coach. This ball up the middle, a base hit.
Well, Matt Holliday going pretty much the same direction he had the other base hit, so he has certainly made an adjustment against a young pitcher. Garrett got him with a perfect pitch on the outside corner that he couldn't do much with, but he takes this one right over the top.
Sixth hit for St. Louis. Craig has grounded to first and flied out to left center.
I'd kind of like to see a spray chart of where Matt Holliday has done most of his hitting direction-wise against the Pirates. Maybe it's just the end of last year where I started noticing him go to right field and straight away. Maybe he doesn't do it all the time, but recently he has stayed away from left field.
Holliday doesn't take off for second very often, but threw over there. Lets Holliday know that Cole hasn't forgotten about him. 1 ball, 1 strike on Alan Craig. Fouled out of play. One and 2. Craig moves from first base to right field. Carlos Beltran, of course, signed as a free agent with the Yankees. So the Cardinals, kind of a new look to certainly their defense. Matt Adams moves to first base for Craig. Borges in center field now. And fisted back to Cole. 2-run homer for Matt Carpenter. Gets the Redbirds to within 1. The halfway mark. It's 3-2 Bucks.
Peralta playing the shortstop position. He's the opening day starter for the St. Louis Cardinals after he comes over from the Detroit Tigers. And he's the 8th opening day shortstop the last 8 seasons. But it appears they're going to have some stability now. Greg and Steve, when you look at Johnny Peralta, signed a huge deal, a 4-year contract north of $50 million. I don't know what that does for a team that's had a lot of stability, meaning a lot of success, to do it despite 8 different opening day shortstops the last 8 seasons. But heck of a job done by them to stay that consistent with all that change.
For sure, Robbie. And one thing it also did was create a lot of uneasiness amongst a lot of the major league players. They were not happy, many of them, at all with the Cardinals. Brad Ziegler, the pitcher, tweeted out almost immediately when they signed him to that 4-year, $53 million. It pays to cheat. Thanks, owners, for encouraging PED use. He wasn't the only one, and eventually the players got together and they changed the CBA rule in Major League Baseball, and some are calling it the Peralta rule. And from now on, you're caught using PEDs, your suspension will increase from 50 to 80 games. Second time you're caught, you're out for a full year. Previously it was 100 games. Caught the third time, lifetime ban. There's going to be more in-season random urine testing. It's going to be more than doubled. Blood collecting for HGH will increase throughout the year. And maybe most importantly, if you're caught with PEDs, you will not be available for postseason play. I think that's what irked players maybe more than anything else, is that Johnny Peralta went and played in the postseason after the suspension last year, and he hit .333 for the Tigers, and then he cashed in with the free agent signing. So, Steve, again, a lot of folks weren't thrilled with the Cardinals doling out all that money to Johnny Peralta, but it ended up forcing this change.
Yep. Keep in mind, those PEDs are not those little socks. Performance-enhancing drugs. Well, you wonder about rules made after the fact rather than rules made before, or variations thereof.
I think it was really the players that many of the players that decided it was important that they increase the penalties, they increase the drug testing. And again, now anybody caught using those performance-enhancing drugs no longer available for the postseason.
Well, one of the problems is with the technology. Many times the offenders are out in front of the enforcers with what they're finding and trying to find things that hide from testing. And, that's a problem.
I think those blood samples will help stay out in front of that. This ball bounced to the second baseman Wong, and Marte is the second out. Pirates up by a run. 2 outs in the 5th. New this season, the Coca-Cola Fan Pack, available every Sunday home game. Starting at $35 in advance. You get a lower outfield box ticket, fountain drink, hot dog, and a soft pretzel. Get your tickets at PNC Park ticket windows or visit pirates.com/fanpack. The Coca-Cola Fan Pack. Cool night after those storms came in.
Boy, that's cooled it off.
Let's go,
but those ladies enjoying a 1-run Pirate lead, and the wind continues to help any ball hit in the air to the outfield.
Straight out now. It's popped up.
That won't get out of here.
No. Matt Carpenter, however, will have to battle the wind as it carries the ball back and then into fair territory. And the Pirates go down in order for the first time, lead 3-2.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
Welcome back. Our Day Automotive this day in Pirates history. On this day in 1977, the Pirates traded minor league pitcher Randy Seeley to the Angels for Mike Easler. Mike Easler, the hitman, played just 10 games for the Pirates that year, but 2 years later, big contributor to the World Series team, hit .278, 55 games, had big hits. 6 years with the Pirates, hit .302 with 56 home runs. The hitman, Mike Easler, indeed a big part of that success story of the We Are Family Pittsburgh Pirates. Platooned a lot in left field with Bill Robinson, the right-hand hitter.
Always good to see the hitman. He comes down to our fantasy camp on occasion and always very popular.
He's got a lot of sangy in him, a lot of smiling.
Yeah, yeah. Good with people.
Yep.
He's good company.
Yep. One-time hitting coach, one-time Cardinal himself, Mike Easler.
I think Tim Neverett used to see a lot of him out in Las Vegas when he was a hitting coach for the Vegas team.
Ball grounded to short. Mercer retires Molina.
Time for a breather inning for Garrett Cole. Struggling through the fourth and fifth, but has kept it together. Still holding on to a lead.
Matt Adams has flied out and walked. John Mabry taking notes. Bounced with a shallow right fielder, Neil Walker. 2 ground ball outs. Bucks and Cardinals tomorrow, 7:05. After the games and belly fireworks presented by First Energy Solutions. Plus, you know, on Saturdays, you win great prizes on Eaton Park Scratch and Win Saturdays. Go to Pirates.com for tickets. Tomorrow, game 2 of the 3-game series. Francisco Liriano against Joe Kelly tomorrow night. Here's Joe Kelly. And there is Francisco Liriano.
Who was just wonderful his first time out.
Wandy Rodriguez with the hood on, pitched a solid ball game yesterday. Like the Wandy of old.
Yeah, you look at his performance. He gave up what, single runs in the first 3 innings, but you know, when your bats are hot, that's the kind of game you can say, well, I pitched pretty well. We won 7-3, 6-3, 5-3, something like that. Pirates just didn't get him enough offense. Didn't pitch badly, but bats are still a little cool.
Well, who knows how he would have pitched if they didn't have that guy named Bonifacio in the lineup. He scored 2 runs, 2 more hits. Emilio Bonifacio.
He had 9 or 11 hits in that series.
Yeah, 11 hits. And down on strikes goes Peralta. Third 1-2-3 inning of the night for Garrett Cole, and his second strikeout. Bucks up by 1. forward in that game, and I guess Lucas Duda going to put a foot down in terms of securing that starting job at first base over Ike Davis. Strike one on Andrew McCutchen, who has popped to second and lined out to right. Two-homer night for Lucas Duda, a two-homer night for Pedro Alvarez. And up the middle, a base hit.
There you go, Andrew.
Andrew McCutchen's home run, or rather McCutchen singles, his second hit of the campaign. And now Alvarez, who has hit 2 home runs.
Pedro Alvarez.
Last Pirate to have 3 homers in a game is standing at first base right now. Andrew McCutchen, a 3-homer game August the 1st, 2009 against the Washington Nationals. And that could be 2. There's 1, and he beats the Rap at first. Shift. Carpenter to Peralta to Adams.
Good hustle by the big man. No replay required.
Randy Choate, the lefty. Seth Maness is the right-handed pitcher. Shelby Miller due up second next inning. One ball, one strike on Russell Martin. One of 2 strikeouts for Shelby Miller. Martin hit .300 during the regular season against the St. Louis Cardinals last year. Ball hit toward the seats, and that is going to drop.
Keep Adams out of the stands.
I was going to say, yeah, fans back off. Matt Adams going to get that big paw in there. He took a lot of grief yesterday after going into the front row. A Reds fan, caught the foul ball, and as Adams was leaning in, he gave the fan what looked like maybe a playful little shove with a glove. The fan took exception to it. And,
gave him a little gesture too, didn't he, the fan?
Yeah.
And then complained everybody had a little scratch on his thumb.
Alvarez takes off. Molina surprised by it. A stolen base for Pedro Alvarez.
Have yourself a night, Pedro.
How about that?
What a jump. Massive jump. I don't think Molina had much of a chance there. I think he caught Miller off guard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a stolen base on Mr. Miller.
5th career steal for Pedro Alvarez. He had 2 last year.
I'll tell you what, I'm a little surprised that Just 2 strikeouts for each of these young stud pitchers.
Yeah.
Certainly a secondary story. But, you see them running up some pretty good totals during the course of the summer, I'm sure.
See if Martin can get Alvarez home. And he could. There's a base hit to center. Runner going to be waved. Borges' throw to the plate. And it's going to be not in time.
And Malia thinks he had him. Here we go. Replay time. We have a bingo. Hold all cards.
Let's take another look. Alvarez waved home.
Try to get that hand in underneath. Outstretched.
He got it in there. And now Matheny's just waiting to see
what his people say.
Yeah, John Mabry or whoever is designated to give him the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Probably Mike Aldretti, the bench coach. There's the base hit for Russell Martin, his first RBI, and the Pirates lead 4-2.
Molina has to go out a little bit toward first base, and Pedro simply gets the hand across home plate before the tag. Good pictures from our camera guys to show that there wasn't any doubt. There's the hand, there's home plate, and there's the glove coming on late. Good stuff. Great looks.
That is going to be it for Shelby Miller as the Pirates take a 4-2 lead on the RBI single by Russell Martin, scoring Pedro Alvarez. Come a Pedro Alvarez Louisville Slugger plastic bat thanks to Highmark. Come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. After the game, kids can run the bases. Thanks to Kennywood. For tickets, go to Pirates.com. This Sunday, all kids get one of those Pedro Alvarez Louisville Slugger plastic bats thanks to Highmark, and Pedro Alvarez having himself quite a night. He has scored 3 runs. He's hit 2 homers. And here he comes for the plate. Raging Bull.
That is slow motion.
Slap that plate just before Molina applies the tag.
Brian Gorman right on top of things. Veteran left-hander Randy Choate, 38-year-old Randy Choate, who has pitched for the Yankees, the Diamondbacks, the Rays, the Marlins.
The left-handed specialist. Look at the number of games he's pitched and the number of innings. Last year, 64 games, 35 innings. So Mike Matheny has him come in to turn Neil Walker around, and Travis Ishikawa is on deck.
So the Pirates kind of rough up Shelby Miller again here in this ballpark. Miller now has worked at this point a total of 27 innings against the Pirates, 17 earned runs.
Through 97 pitches tonight. Before handing the ball to Randy Choate, second year with the Cardinals.
Pick him up.
Checks a swing. Down and in, 2-1 on Walker. Walker bounced into a double play and flied out against Shelby Miller back on the bench.
World Series obviously last year, but way back in 2001 it's the World Series of the Yankees. 12-year difference.
Shot up the middle by Neil Walker, and heading to third base, Russell Martin. Heads up base run. That ball hit hard to center field. Martin didn't waste any time.
That's some fun things to watch from guys you don't expect to see run very much. Pedro steals a base, and Russell, in his own way, steals a base. It's another 90 feet. Big item. You get in scoring position for a sacrifice fly, perhaps. Didn't quit. And causes them to make a decision to shut it down in terms of making the throw to third base.
Always good to see a hit off a left-handed pitcher for Neil Walker. And Mike Matheny has Gabby Sanchez is announced as the pinch hitter. Mike Matheny is going to make a double switch here. Going over that lineup card with Brian Gorman. He's going to bring Seth Maness in to face Gabby Sanchez, and we'll be back and straighten it all out for you in a moment. Going off not only the power, but also, we've talked about this a lot, Steve, for a big guy, he can run, he's not a burner, but way better than you'd think.
Yep.
Beat out that potential double play ball, steals a base, and scores on the base hit.
You're working hard, so you got the power and you got the speed. What a package. Pedro Alvarez. Good night for the big man.
The Pirates lead it 4-2, and they look to add on. They scored a run here. The inning began with a McCutchen single, and Alvarez hit that ground ball. McCutchen forced out at second. Alvarez then steals the base and scores on the Martin single. Martin goes to third on the ground ball up the middle for Walker, and now Seth Maness did a fine job retiring the first batter he faced last year 88% of the time. Gabby Sanchez bats for Ishikawa, but now faces the right-hand hitter Seth Maness.
Get the ball out of the infield. Get it out of the infield. Easy to say, not nearly as easy to do against a major league pitcher. This is still a grind. It's a 4-2 ball game. Really nothing established yet. Scalzo, the part of the double switch at shortstop now.
Manus induced 16 double plays with the Cardinals last year. That was tops among National League relievers. And the Pirates might be running to avoid heading into an inning-ending double play. The last Cardinal rookie with 16 double plays induced, Jose Jimenez, in 1999. Gabby Sanchez batting for Ishikawa, who homered his last time up. Runner does go. And it's a swing and a miss, and now they've got Martin caught, but the ball hits him. And the Pirates are going to score a run out of it. Here comes Matheny. The Pirates lead 5-2, and Walker winds up at third base. Take a look. Does Russell Martin intentionally get in the way here? That's what Matheny might be arguing. An old Reggie Jackson play many years ago. The World Series game against the Dodgers. Let's see.
Oh.
No, not a.
Almost hit him in the neck.
Did change course a little bit.
Did. He took a look at the flight of the ball. And the Cardinals looking right down the third base line from their dugout. And Mike Matheny's not going away. I didn't think managers could argue anymore.
Well, they can, because this is not a play that you can challenge, because this is an umpire judgment call when it comes to interference or obstruction. So he's going to get his money's worth with Brian Gorman. This is excluded when it comes to challengeable calls. He's going to at least ask Gorman to check with the third base umpire to see if he saw anything. So David Rackley and the others will gather. And I can't believe that David Rackley would overrule Gorman. That would,
the crew chief?
Yeah, a veteran. I don't see that happening. He would stick with the original call. The Pirates lead 5-2. Is going to stand. Of course, the Cardinals won a World Series game on an obstruction call. And Will Middlebrooks was called for it. Different play, but still obstruction was called. And yeah, Martin did kind of dance in there.
Well, but you wonder if he's trying to get out of the way too. It's
you're right. That's exactly right. So the infield is in, and it's bounced up the middle for a base hit for Gabby Sanchez. The Pirates lead 6-2. Pirates.
They open it up. Ground ball just out of the reach of Descalzo, and they add on.
Gabby Sanchez comes through with a pinch hit. RBI single at the infield, drawn in. He had a pinch hit double yesterday. And Russell Martin scoring on the ball that hit off his back. Nadia Molina charged with the error. 1-2 now on Jordy Mercer.
A wild and woolly bottom of the 6th inning.
Two ball game.
I don't know how many earned, but Miller gives up 5 and 5 1/3.
Another 5 earned, they're saying, of course, because of the base hit by Sanchez. So, Mercer hit by the pitch, puts runners at first and second.
Not much chance of getting out of the way of this one. You don't know whether to go forward or backward, and usually he who hesitates either way is hit. Nowhere to go. If you want to hit somebody, throw right about in that direction. You really can't get out of the way.
Just 1 out, and Cole shows bunt, try and move the runners over. The Pirates scoring 3 runs. They've stolen 2 bases in the inning. They have 4 singles. Martin scoring on the air following the Walker steal. Ball bunted foul. So long ball to lead it 3-0 with 3 solo homers, 2 from Alvarez and the other by Ishikawa. And here in the 6th inning, small ball. There's Travis Ishikawa seated next to Charlie Morton.
Happy dugout.
Swinging away, and that was going to be a double play. 4-6-3 DP, but the Pirates score 3 and lead it 6-2. Catch all the action from the XL Center as the Pens take on the Wild tomorrow starting at 7:30 on Root Sports.
Good to hear the doc last night. That win for the Pens. Dr. Lang.
And a big win as well for Dan Bylsma. Gabby Sanchez takes over at first base. And speaking of Dan Bylsma, he and Clint Hurdle have a good relationship, and Robbie Ince-Mikowski has more on that.
Yeah, Greg and Steve, you look at Dan Bylsma winning 250 games for the first time, fastest in NHL history with 250 regular season wins. And he and Hurdle have a very good relationship. It dates back a couple of years. And Hurdle today said he loves the fact that Bylsma is a guy's guy who respects the game and everything in life and fears nothing. Hurdle got home in time last night to watch the end of the game and saw Bylsma set the record. And how about this? On opening day, Bylsma reached out to Hurdle, and Hurdle said today that he and Bylsma have more than a working relationship. They have a very good friendship, the two coaches here in Pittsburgh.
Not surprising.
That's good. And he and Mike Tomlin also have a strong relationship, along with Bylsma.
Good connections, all three.
Peter Borges in the hole 0-2.
What do you want to do as a pitcher after you have a little offensive outburst? Next half inning, put up the old 0. It's only 1 inning, but doesn't it seem like a big difference if you can take your starter through 7 and leave 2 innings to your bullpen?
No question.
3 is it's not much more, but it's a different feel.
Now this is going to be a tough play. Cole will get him.
And nice work by Garrett not to panic, rush it too much. Set himself in a good strong strike to first base.
Another close play, but both times the Pirates get Borges. The one in the 5th innings, he tried to bunt for a hit. It was Russell Martin making an outstanding defensive play. And there you see Garrett Cole just barely getting Peter Borges. And Daniel Descalso with his first at bat takes a strike. Kind of wondered about this start tonight for Garrett Cole because, Steve, his last spring training start was rained out. That was in Philadelphia, the exhibition game, so he had to kind of get his work out in the rain in the outfield. But boy, he looks as strong as he was when he first arrived on the scene last summer.
He is strong. He really is. #1 in the country, and at this point, as advertised, and just going to be a lot of fun to watch his career unfold. I think we're going to like it a lot.
Shot to the right side, ball over, but that'll be Gabby Sanchez unassisted, 2 outs.
And what you like too, now he hit that snag in the 4th and 5th inning. He put up the 0. He really worked hard to put up the 0 in the 4th. Got nicked for the home run in the 5th, and now back on track. And you just like that. That okay, a little a bump in the road as you will, but gets it back together. I like that. Like that a lot. What he's done. Well, retiring the last 6 in a row.
He's gotten 13 ground ball outs tonight.
And this is a guy that throws at 97, 98 miles an hour. You don't associate that with a fireballer, but he'll turn the ball over. I don't know if that particular pitch, the sinking fastball, has created those ground balls. It usually does.
Swinging a foul ball, and you know he wants Carpenter. He figures this is probably his last batter or last inning. Wants this to be his last batter, and Carpenter touched him up for that 2-run homer. Carpenter lined out to first baseman, then first baseman Travis Ishikawa in the 3rd inning, and he singled to start the ball game. So Cole really wants Carpenter here.
Closing in on 100 pitches. But I'll tell you, it's a fun night to pitch. This cool weather. You don't feel as drained as you would maybe August night when it's 80-some degrees. Nothing happening in the bullpen at this point. But we'll see.
100th pitch coming up.
Mr. Kiner would have liked to see the long balls tonight. Well, Kiner is number 4 on the patch, the Pirates jerseys.
Pedro Alvarez with 2 long balls. Kiner-esque. Long homers. Another 2-2 pitch due to Matt Carpenter. With 2 outs and nobody on, Carpenter calls time. Wanted that one.
Still 97 miles an hour. There's some. Clint says, give me some distance. Calling the bullpen.
Spoils that 98-mile-per-hour fastball. A battle here with Garrett Cole against Matt Carpenter. It'll be Tony Watson and Brian Morris.
Sometimes you're just hoping at this point in a ball game to get that 30. You're looking for some way, but he wants it. You know, he's got some wiggle room.
Oh, how about that? Everybody started walking off the field. Brian Gorman calls it ball 4. Russell Martin had taken 2 steps toward the dugout. Everybody figured that was it.
Could have got the call.
It was a strike, according to the grid. And so Cole wanted to get Carpenter. Ray Searage will buy the bullpen some time.
You know how much he wanted that pitch right there, but I like the way. Didn't show the umpire up. Kind of a little small item, a little professional thing for Garrett Cole. That goes in the file.
I was just going to say, for Gorman will remember that Cole didn't show him up. Now faces Colton Wong, who has singled to left center field and grounded out twice to third. Strike 1.
Hey, Garrett, put the lid on it. And you know, these little things. 7 innings feels and sounds so much better than 6 2/3.
0-2 on Wong.
Little hook action. Little step down from the fastball. Old King Cole has lofty goals.
One and 2 on Colton Wong.
You're doing fine. Just don't get out in front of yourself.
Out of play. Now with Morris warming and Holiday on deck, seems to be little doubt that this is going to be Cole's last batter. Got him. Garrett Cole, 7 innings, 2 runs. And apologizing to Brian Gorman as he heads out. What a performance from Garrett Cole tonight. We'll keep it right here. A career high 108 pitches. Just the 2-run homer by Matt Carpenter. The only run scored against Garrett Cole. 7th inning stretch time here at PNC Park.
Join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
start.
Yep. Starling Marte leads things off for the Pirates here in the bottom of the 7th inning, up by 4. One and one on Marte. A walk, a triple, and a ground out for Marte. Line to right field and a base hit. He's on base for the 3rd time.
They're starting to have some fun here at the ballpark.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Travis Snider 0 for 2 with a walk. Ball and a strike. Snider lined out into a double play, a broken bat liner to the shortstop. His first AB, he walked in the 3rd against Shelby Miller and popped up to 3rd baseman Matt Carpenter, his last at bat.
Marte wants a ball called. Doesn't get it.
Two and one on Snider. Marte, 41 stolen bases last year. Clint Hurdle was asked about Snider and Wright and Ishikawa at first 4 games of the season, and whether you might have a Tabata and Wright against a right-handed pitcher or Gabby Sanchez. He said, yeah, eventually, but I'd like to give these guys an opportunity to get some traction too. Mentioned that Sunday's matchup might be a good one for Gabby Sanchez. Adam Wainwright starts on Sunday. Might see Jose Tabata out there too. Tabata, .375 career hitter against Wainwright. There goes the runner from first, and a liner to left field, the base hit. And Marte will go to 3rd. Bucks setting up shop here. Travis Snider lines a single to left field. He's on base for the 2nd time.
How clean did that look? Send the runner, you hit the ball in the opposite field, find the hole. Like you draw it up.
Off and running.
Looking good. Clean looking play.
Now McCutcheon, 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Infield at double play depth.
Andrew got it started last inning. He didn't stay around for all the fun, but he got it going.
Ball. 1 and 1 on McCutcheon. 1 for 3 tonight. Cardinals actually did a pretty good job against McCutchen during the regular season last year. He hit .246 versus Redbirds pitching. They will give up a run and willing to go down by 5. They get a ground ball, could turn it into a double play. 1-2 the count on McCutchen.
Is that the tablet?
Looks like a tablet, doesn't it? About the same size as your phone.
You can't flip it like I can.
How do you like your new flip phone?
I like it a lot.
Do you?
Yep. Go home tonight and read the book. Read the whole instruction book.
Read? Are you really?
Yeah, sit back.
Chris Sorge,
have a cold
the
one.
IT department delivered it to you. Nice of them.
Nice presentation. Yeah. Nicely packaged. A little ceremony here. Got some folks around. Had finger sandwiches and nice ceremony.
2-2 on McCutchen.
Sit back after the Pirate win and read that manual.
That's what you're going to do.
Nothing better than that.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Bounce toward third. The pick. Then the throw to the plate by Carpenter. So they will snuff a run out. And Marte says get to third. And McCutchen gets to second. So Marte does the job, staying in the rundown.
That's the way you're supposed to do it. Marte directing traffic. Stays alive long enough. We're still in business.
Descalzo ends up making the tag. So
they're not going to pitch today,
5-2-6.
though, of course.
Although walk the bull intentionally to face Russell Martin. Alvarez with 2 home runs, 3 runs scored, a stolen base, and now walked intentionally to load them up for Martin. Martin last time up singled in a run and scored.
Now the Pirates are looking good right now, but wouldn't it clear the air nicely about all the talk about the offense after 3 games? Not being around and just doing...
Absolutely. Questions about the offense after 3 games.
Well,
give it a chance.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutes after 3 games. The only reason you got that, it's a little bit of a carryover from last year, but come on, 3 games.
My goodness. Strike is called on Russell Martin.
It is nice to have some wiggle room.
Base hit to right. Russell Martin singles home. Snyder 7-2 Buccos.
And boy, you add one on now. You had to start adding on in the 7th inning to make it doubly tough. And that was a nice bit of hitting by Russell Martin. Bahia saw that correctly. Something down and away, and just hit it the other way. That's major league hitting.
Russell Martin, 2 hits on base 3 times. Picks up his 2nd ribby in as many at bats. Scores Snyder, McCutchen to 3rd, Alvarez to 2nd. And now Walker, who singled and scored last inning, stole a base. A couple of steals tonight. You think maybe McCutchen and Marte, but it's Alvarez and Walker with the steals. First 3 games, Pirates collected a total of 20 hits. They have 11 hits tonight. And they've scored as many runs tonight as they did in those 3 games against the Cubs. And Walker, a line drive. They'll turn that into an inning-ending double play.
Hit it right on the button.
Right back to the pitcher, Manus. The Bucks add to the lead through 7, up by 5. Long ball, small ball, good pitching from Garrett Cole, and there you have it. 7-2 Pirates in Game 1 of this 3-game series against the defending National League champion Cardinals. Russell Martin, big part of the offense and, of course, receiving the early picks he made in the dirt. Travis Ishikawa, his first Pirate home run. Now Brian Morris takes over for Garrett Cole.
He picked up the first win of the season.
Extra inning game.
5 wins last year, 55 trips out of the Pirate bullpen. Pirates looking for 6 outs.
Morris pitched a scoreless 10th on opening day. Pitched a scoreless 9th inning yesterday against the Cubs in a 3-2 loss. And Matt Holliday leads things off for the Cardinals in the 8th. Holliday, 2 of the 6 Cardinal hits against Garrett Cole. Brian Morris was so impressive in spring training. Strike 3 call, outside corner.
Take a look at this first out in the 8th inning. Breaking pitch, perfecta.
90-mile-per-hour slider.
When you throw a slider right there, it's low enough and outside enough, right at that corner of the strike zone grid. Not much they can do with it.
Fastball to Alan Craig is a strike.
All you want is a bunch of strikes now. Not just down the middle, but pitch out in front. You're in control.
Shortstop, Mercer. 2 away. Look at our AT&T fan photo. Had a bunch of folks submit some pictures. How about that Jeep with the Buccaneer, the Jolly Roger on the front? From Gerald Donahue.
Get you out of a traffic jam.
Keep those coming in on Twitter using the hashtag Bucks fan photo. We choose the better ones that we send. And we'll do it also on the post-game show, so keep them coming in. Especially the creative Jolly Roger shots that we've seen. Keep them coming in. And in fact, what we're starting to see a lot of around Western PA, neighborhoods all across the region. After the Pirates win, we see people putting up that Jolly Roger on their porches and windows. So take a shot of that when you put that Jolly Roger out there. Ball to strike on Molina. Half swing. Gave away the raise the Jolly Roger t-shirt tonight.
RT Jr. Yep. Highlighted.
RT Jr.
The initial. Got to be able to do something with that.
RTJR has been a common. I've never heard it called RT Jr.
Well, Mr. Brown, you got this thing going, and you have you started something big with our Buccos. Good stuff.
Well, thanks, but the Buccos started it. But thank you.
Yeah, you did.
The fact that they've been winning.
Good stuff.
It's really got people fired up with the Jolly Roger. It's been fun keeping it going. Two and 2 now on Molina. He's 0 for 3, grounded out twice, flied out against Garrett Cole. Another foul ball. Molina hangs tough. 2 outs in the 8th. These two clubs were so evenly matched last year. Bucks winning 10 of the 19 regular season games overall. They won 7 of the 10 played here at PNC Park. And when you include the 5 games of the National League Division Series, all even, 12 and 12.
Oh, ouch. Close, but no cigar.
Balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Bouncing ball to first. Gabby Sanchez going to keep it himself.
Nicely
Ryan
positioned.
Morris has a 1-2-3 inning. Yeah, Gabby Sanchez well off the line right there. 7-2 Pittsburgh. Travis Ishikawa get the silent treatment after his first Pirate home run. They usually give that to the rookies, but they gave it to him.
An old baseball tradition. Yep.
Even though Ishikawa's been in the big leagues a number of years, his first Pirate home run gets the silent treatment.
Yep. That long time. You can see it interesting. He'd already gone by Russell Martin, so Russell gave it to him. But when he got behind him, he started opening up.
Keith Butler now on for St. Louis in a 7-2 game. Gabby Sanchez a pinch hit, RBI single in the 6th. Tony Cruz the new catcher.
Miller, Choate, Maness, now Butler.
Two strikes on Gabby Sanchez. Butler appeared in 16 games last year with the St. Louis Cardinals. And they got Gabby Sanchez. Look at the road ahead for the Pirates, brought to you by Nissan. Tomorrow, Francisco Liriano against Joe Kelly. Kelly makes his 2014 debut. 10-5, 2.69 ERA a year ago. Francisco Liriano, 6 shutout innings opening day. And that game tomorrow night will be seen on the MLB Network in Pittsburgh. And then on Sunday, Bucks back on Root Sports. It'll be the Cardinals ace Adam Wainwright against Edinson Volquez. Good to see Edinson Volquez have a couple of strong relief innings yesterday. There's Volquez and his buddy Francisco Liriano. Jordy Mercer with a base hit to left. Mercer's on the hit parade. So all 8 starting position players, and including Gabby Sanchez, who came in for Ishikawa. Everybody position player wise with at least a hit tonight. A dozen for the Pirates. Jose Tabata will pinch hit for Morris. Justin Wilson will be asked to finish up the 9th inning. Tabata 1 for 5 early going in the season. Has yet to start a game. Don't know when we'll see our first left-handed starter. The Pirates mentioned that tomorrow night it's the righty Joe Kelly, Sunday the righty Adam Wainwright, and then the road trip will begin in Chicago. And Travis Wood started their opener today. So you wouldn't figure you'd see Wood certainly on Tuesday. Ball bounces foul. Might see Wood on Wednesday, very likely at least Thursday, so that'll be their first look at a left-hander. The luxury to have 2 left-handed starters in the rotation for Pittsburgh. Liriano and Wandy Rodriguez. Aren't a whole lot of left-handed starting pitchers in the Central Division. There's a liner to left field and a base hit for Jose Tabata. He rips that breaking ball into the corner. Mercer going to be waved home by Nick Leyva. And the throw won't even come to the plate. It'll be held on the double by Tabata. And even he gets into the act.
Good stuff. Nice breakout.
Pirates leading at 8-2.
You talk about the luxury of 2 starters. How about backing it up with 2 guys lights out in the bullpen?
Yeah.
You watch Jose bury it down in the left field corner. Jordy's got the whole thing in front of him. Big windmill by Nick Leva. The Pirates add on. Nick says, good ball. Keep on trucking.
Up the RBI, and the Pirates with 13 hits lead 8-2.
Russell liking it. Gabby liking it. What's not to like?
Marte with another hit, and Nick Leva will hold Tabata here. He had to wait let that ball get through. And Marte with a 3-hit night and on base for the 4th time. th hit for the Pirates.
There's your young left fielder. He was a lot of fun to watch.
Pirates are 4 for 8 tonight. Runners in scoring position. Take that every time. Now Snyder. Snyder's gone the other way the 3 times he's put the ball in play. Singled to left and scored last inning. Pitch away, and it's 2-0. On Travis Snyder. Shelby Miller, Randy Choate, Seth Maness, and Keith Butler on the mound for the Cardinals. Miller gave up 5 and 5 1/3. Pedro Alvarez led off the 2nd inning with his first home run of the season. Alvarez homered leading off the 4th inning. 2 outs later, Travis Ishikawa with his first Pirate homer made it 3-0. Matt Carpenter got the Cardinals to within 1 in the top of the 5th with a 2-run shot off of Garrett Cole. And then the Pirates with 4 singles in the 6th inning. Stole a couple of bases. Russell Martin scored on a throwing error by Yadier Molina. The ball hit Martin and trickled toward the dugout. Gabby Sanchez had a pinch hit RBI single in that frame. Neil Walker got a base hit and a steal and scored. Even Alvarez had a stolen base. Three and 2. Runner goes. And a little pop shot into shallow left. And another hit. Snyder goes the other way again. Picks up the RBI. Travis Snyder on base 3 times with 2 hits. And he picks up his first ribby of the campaign.
Nice little flare right over the head of the third baseman. Nothing they could do about it. Just a little, like a cut shot, like a cue shot on a pitch downstairs. Just gives it a little English, little spin. Little hit, little RBI. And the beat goes on.
Pirates up 9-2 now with 15 hits, and here's Andrew McCutchen. Infield still at double play depth. And ball 1. McCutchen singled to start the 6th inning, and that got the ball rolling for the Bucks as they scored 3 times. field. That gets down and heads to the wall. Marte trotted home. Snyder waved home. There goes McCutchen with a stand-up triple. Puts those guns back in the holsters. And the Pirates firing on all cylinders tonight, leading 11-2.
Half the fun on this shot is watching Andrew run the bases. It's always a treat when that ball starts rolling in the gap to the wall. He just airs it out. There's the start. He sees the possibility, and there's the gear. No contest. Andrew McCutchen.
McCutchen's first 2 RBIs of the season. He has a 2-hit night. Pirates with 16 hits now. And making this one a laugher. Leading 11-2, and here is Alvarez.
1 out.
Career multi-homer game tonight for Alvarez. This is going to bring home another run. Give Alvarez another RBI. A dozen runs for the Pirates. 3 RBIs for Alvarez.
One of those nights. All the teams have them. Pirates are having some fun.
Breaking ball missed. Every position in the lineup has scored at least a run. McCutchen with 200 ribbies at PNC Park, one of 3 players joining Jason Bay and Jack Wilson. Other players with that many runs batted in here at PNC Park for their careers.
Pretty good company for Jack, isn't it?
And he would agree with you. He would. Bounces it to short. Scalzo on to first. The Pirates score 5 more times. 3 outs away from a big-time drubbing of the Redbirds.
presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Buccos with a comfortable 12-2 lead. And for the final 3 outs, get ready for tomorrow night's game 2. Jose Tabata stays in the game to play left field. Starling Marte moving from left to center, giving Andrew McCutchen the rest of the game off, and Justin Wilson will pitch for the Pirates and his name placed in the 3-hole on the batting order.
Following a nice tidy outing for Brian Morris, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. Following Garrett Cole, one pitch he'd like to have back for home run, 2-run home run, and that's all the Cardinals have gotten. Whole lot of offense, whole lot of pitching, whole lot of fun, and you get a shirt for free and the ball in your box of popcorn.
Tomorrow, Joe Kelly starts for the Cardinals. Francisco Liriano starts for the Pirates. 7:05. Hope to see you here tomorrow night, and then Sunday afternoon, the first homestand comes to an end on a Kids Sunday. Fireworks tomorrow after the game. Shane Robinson bats for Matt Adams. So tomorrow night, again, the MLB Network will carry the game on TV. We'll be on 93.7 The Fan and our radio network affiliates, of course, as always. Back on Root Sports on Sunday. And as always, on the radio side, our first regular season Neil Huntington show.
There you go.
On the radio side.
You got it all warmed up down in spring training, didn't you?
Did, yes, yes.
Looking forward to that.
3-2 on Shane Robinson.
Follow that up over on the radio side with a edgy, cutting edge interview.
Edgy.
With somebody special. Somebody special.
Edgy. By the way, I think I saw Bob Walk trying to kind of hone in on the guy that does, I think, a lot of your radio shows on the pregame.
I did
Pirates
notice
pitching
that.
coach Ray Searage.
Yeah.
Is it? Don't you have kind of dibs on that?
Thought I did. Yeah.
What's happening here? You're getting away from it.
Well, you got a couple veteran pitchers there. Maybe Walk. Bob was having a little.
Did you see it also?
Some insightful conversation with Ray. Maybe passing on a few pointers.
Well, before the game, I saw.
It's all about gestures.
I thought I saw it was Bob. Maybe it wasn't Bob.
About 2 or 3 in the afternoon, wasn't it?
Tony Cruz. Strike one on Tony Cruz. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'll be
Tony
talking.
Cruz first at bat.
I'll be talking to Ray at some point along the way.
Do we know when yet?
Ask him about that conversation. No, we don't.
All right. All right. One and 2 on Cruz. Justin Wilson pitched on opening day. Or game 2 rather, that 16-inning game. It's the 7th inning against the Cubs. He walked the first man in that 7th inning and then struck out the next 3 batters. He walks first man he faces here in the 9th inning, Shane Robinson. That's 2-2 on Tony Cruz.
Showing the Cardinals some more heat.
Line foul. $23,342 tonight. All fouled off of Martin's mask. It's like the rain and the bad forecast might have kept some folks at home. I'm glad you were able to watch it tonight, but hope that you'll think about coming out to Game 2 tomorrow night, and then Sunday afternoon as the first homestand concludes. Pirates will hit the road for a stretch. 3 in Chicago, 3 in Milwaukee, 3 in Cincinnati. Road trip starts Tuesday. 3-2 on Cruz.
It's turned into a rather brisk evening here, temperature-wise. See, folks got the coats on, some blankets.
Rob and Teak are going to be around for the post-game show. Here, they are not concerned at all about the chilly temperatures.
Not expecting more than, what, 3 or 4 inches of snow tonight. I don't believe the forecast calls for anything more than that.
Oh, back-to-back leadoff walks. Two Pirate lead. Also Martin out to talk with Justin Wilson. Peter Borges will come to the plate. A lot of final scores around baseball today. Still some games in progress. There was one game postponed. The Oakland Athletics. Is that not their second game?
Yes.
Postponed?
Yep.
Highly unusual. Been several years since the A's had one game postponed, but already their second. So the 3-1 Mariners will have to wait another day. There's a strike.
I think Russell Martin Joe's going out and stating the obvious to Justin Wilson. Said, it's been a rather lengthy evening. Let's get some strikes.
One ball, one strike on the former Angel, Peter Borges.
You mentioned his dad played for the Phillies back in 1980?
Did not.
You should. You wrote it down.
Well, mentioned it to you. Glad you mentioned it now. The ball popped out of play. No, his dad played for the Giants, didn't he?
That's what I thought.
What'd you say? The Phillies?
No, I said dad played for the Giants against the Phillies. Back there in 1980.
Chris Borges
hit that home run off Dick Ruthven.
Played 13 games in 1980. Well, you did listen. His lone home run in the big leagues off Dick Ruthven of the Phillies.
Not off Bob Walker.
No, that's what we really were checking.
I think that's what Bob was talking to Ray Searage about this afternoon out on the field.
I bet you.
The home run that Borges' dad hit off Ruthven.
He was telling Ray that he was hoping to get a chance to pitch against Peter's dad, Chris Borges,
but was concerned about his power.
Exactly. Out of play. Masahiro Tanaka made his Yankees debut. 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 3 runs total, 6 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts. And the Yankees beat the Blue Jays 7-3.
Rick still working hard.
Oh yeah. Rick Saflinsky. Steve, you going back with us to Yankee Stadium this year, as you did about 8 years ago?
Anything I can do to help the ball club.
That's not an answer.
I will if needed.
Line foul off to the right.
Tell you how long ago that was. I interviewed Joe Torre for a pregame show. He's managing the Yankees quite some time ago.
Another New York team hosting the Reds tonight, and the Mets beat the Reds for their first win in 4 tries, dropping the Reds to an early 1-3 record. And Wilson strikes out Borges, first out of the 9th inning.
Went to New York last year, by the way, and that series against the Mets when Bob's son was getting married. Had a good time.
Here's Daniel Descalzo. I don't remember that.
Rather eventful trip.
Bounce toward first. Nice play by Gabby Sanchez. That ball died in a hurry to get the middleman. 2 outs.
One more.
Pete Kozma will pinch hit. Pete Kozma was the starting shortstop much of last year.
Can't be much fun to sit on the bench. It's gotten to be a rather cold night. Get up there for an at-bat with 2 outs in the ninth, down 10 runs, and you got to face some 96, 95 mile an hour heat. Started with Garrett Cole putting up 4 zeros before the Cardinals scored. And zeros after that.
Couple of strikes on Kozma. First meeting between these two clubs last year. The Cardinals beat the Pirates 10-6 here at PNC Park. Broncos lead this one 12-2. 0-2. And a ball and 2 strikes. Largest margin of victory for the Pirates over the Cardinals last year was April the 28th. A 9-0 whitewash of the Redbirds in St. Louis. They lead by 10 tonight. Bounce to second and raise the Jolly Roger. Pirates trounce the Redbirds. Pedro Alvarez leads the way with 2 homers, scores 3 runs, drives in 3. And on a night that they handed out raise the Jolly Roger t-shirts, the Pirates do just that over the Cardinals.
Hitting, pitching, and speed.
Did it all. Everybody, position player wise, had at least a hit. The Pirates win easily tonight. And let's send it out to Robin T.